when your LinkedIn headline tries too hard to impress, you can chase customers away. So let's talk about what you must not do in your headline, no matter how tempting, and the easy fix so you can attract customers and grow your business without driving yourself nuts. First, here are the 5 worst LinkedIn headlines that can drive customers away. This first one is shockingly common, and I've fallen into this trap too. Let's say you're a human resources consultant and your headline looks like this: HR consultant, talent acquisition, employee relations and engagement, performance management, HR compliance, training and development, workforce planning, diversity and inclusion, onboarding. It is packed with keywords, and keywords aren't bad per se. They help you get found in LinkedIn searches, and they give people a full idea of everything you do. But they're just a bunch of nouns. There's no action. There's no soul. It's like toast without butter. You want people excited about your toast. Otherwise, they're just going to go off and enjoy someone else's toast with butter. The other problem with this headline is that if you list too many skills or services at once, it's going to be really hard for people to believe that you are an expert in all of that. And tough love moment here, are you really an expert in every single one of these? You do not want to list something in your headline that you cannot 100% deliver on. So you want to narrow down your keywords to the things you can 100% deliver on that your clients will love from you. Now, keyword stuffing might be bad, but it is nothing compared to this next problem with headlines, which will make people question your personality. So what do you think when you see someone describe themselves as a visionary, guru, maverick, rainmaker, or thought catalyst? It sounds narcissistic. Even if you are a visionary or a maverick, it's always better to talk about the amazing things you do than to describe yourself as amazing. It's also braggy to list your LinkedIn achievements in your headline, such as your 10,000 plus followers or the fact that you're a top voice. This stuff makes me want to stick a fork in my eyeball for 2 reasons. First, people can already see how many followers you have or if you're a top voice. So when you also add it to your headline, that's like saying,
I don't know if you're smart enough to figure this out, so I'm going to shove it in your face.
Also, just because you're super active on social media, that doesn't mean you're actually good at the thing that people would hire you for. I don't care that you have 10,000 followers. I just want to know if you could do my taxes. Now, this next headline is over the top in a different way, and it's everywhere. Let's say you're an accountant and your headline looks like this: detail-oriented and trusted accountant, dedicated to financial excellence, ensuring compliance while maximizing profitability, helping companies thrive, transforming financial data into business success. And what do these have in common? They're cliches. And most cliches on LinkedIn use over-the-top language. This makes it look like you're trying too hard, while at the same time, because they're all cliches, you're blending in with everyone else who's using the same cliches. Now, I will admit, it is hard to completely avoid cliches. Like, it's hard to stop at one Pringle. But if you wear a rubber band on your wrist and then snap it every time you misbehave, you'll stop. By the way, the rubber band is for the Pringles. That would be a horrible way to write LinkedIn posts. And here's another thing we're seeing more and more of. Check out this headline from a software developer. Software developer, tech wizard, full stack pro, problem solver, passionate about innovation, building amazing things one line of code at a time. Look at all these emojis. Now, a sprinkle of emojis, like maybe 1 to 3 emojis, tops. That's okay. It adds some visual interest. But lots of emojis is bleh. It comes across as trying too hard and unprofessional. And finally, please do not put your contact information in your headline. It's too pushy. Okay, so now you know what not to do. You know you shouldn't have a headline like this, which sums up all the headline problems we talked about earlier in one, but you also know you shouldn't have a headline with just your title and company, because it says nothing and doesn't inspire people to hire you. So where do we go from here? Let me give you the formula, and then I'm going to show you how to make this work for you with just like a little bit of help from AI, just enough to get the process going. Here's the formula: story for customer plus a few keywords plus soft call to action. Okay, let's break this down. A story for your customer is how you get them from point A, which is the problem, to point B, which is the solution or the happy ending. You need this in your headline because of the one key thing for all of your marketing, and that is people buy stuff to solve problems. It doesn't matter what it is. I hired a bookkeeper because doing all the books myself would make my brain explode. And once a month, I buy a pint of non-dairy Ben & Jerry's Tonight Dough and eat it in one sitting to fill a missing piece of my soul, which it doesn't, and I end up hating myself But in the moment when I'm eating the chocolate and the caramel and the fudge brownie bits and the cookie dough, it feels good. Another great thing about story is that you're not bragging about yourself as a person, but instead you are showing how you get people from point A to point B and create that happy ending, which is totally fair. So how do we create this story? First, we have to figure out the problems that we help our ideal customers solve. Now, you can either brainstorm this on your own or use AI for a little bit of help. Like, let's say you're a graphic designer and you love working with small businesses. You can use a prompt like this. I'm a graphic designer serving small businesses. Please give me 10 problems that small businesses face about graphic design that would prompt them to hire a graphic designer like me. Now you're going to narrow this down to the reasons that resonate most with you and specifically your audience. Then you can ask, can you give me 10 LinkedIn profile headline options that make reference to points numbers 3, 7, and 10 above, but also give hope at the end? With hope at the end, this is how we build our story. Now, if you like one of these options, great. Or you can pick the headline that comes closest to what you like and then ask AI for 10 more like that. In the end, what's probably going to happen is you're going to pick bits and pieces from different headline options to make one that's your own. And this is also important. Make sure the juiciest part of your story is within the first 50-ish characters. That's because even though you have up to 220 characters for your headline, including spaces, only the first 50-ish characters of your headline show up with your name when you post on LinkedIn. So here's what I came up with for the story part of our headline. And if you can think of something better, please put them in the comments so we can learn from each other. No time for graphic design? I create visuals that pop for small businesses. And this juiciest part, no time for graphic design, I create visuals that pop, is in the first 53 characters. Okay, so we did the story part of our headline. Now we just need a few keywords, just enough for a little bit of toast. And this will be a personal choice based on the skills and services that you want to promote the most. Now, let's say this graphic designer deals mostly with digital marketing. They might add to their headline, web design, social media graphics, and graphic templates. Okay, and what about the soft call to action at the end? My new favorite is DM me for more info with a pointy finger down. You can also do an arrow down. You're not throwing your contact information into people's faces, but you're giving them a little nudge. But we're not done yet. Now, this headline so far is 155 characters. So we do have room to build this out a little bit more or even add some more personality. Like, you can add no brand should be stuck in the 90s and then add modern and creative next to web design. So you're moving the story out of the 90s and into present day. Suppose you want to add 1 or 2 emojis for extra personality. You can also add bold and italics to certain words to make things pop even more. But just keep in mind, if you use bold and italics, which you can create using a free site like yatext.com, these bold or italic letters are not really letters. They're actually Unicode that look like letters. And LinkedIn can't index Unicode. So you never want to use bold or italics on the business related keywords. In other words, the keywords that people would use to search for people like you. Instead, use bold or italics for the other fun stuff. Now that you know how to craft your LinkedIn headline, your next step is to make sure the right people see your headline, and for that matter, see your profile. But if you just chase quality connections, you're missing out on huge opportunities. So check out this video in the top right corner, where I'm going to show you how to build your network the right way. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.